Okay, welcome to Midvale Speedway, April 15th, 2006. And the late model Fast Heat is on the track. And getting ready to come at you this time. Tom Garbrandt will set the pace in car 64 along with Bob Sibla Jr. in 42. Here we go. Tom Garbrandt 64, Bob Sibla 42, Mike Miller 53. 7, Rich Rohr. 70, Ryan Tedesco. 54, Doug McMillan. 75, Marcus Smalquit. Ron Jaber Jr. in 22, and Mark Wilson 18. Round out your field. The Fast Heat of the late model. Second out of race here in Midvale. Side by side for that race lead. Tom Garbrandt on the inside, Bob Sibla on the outside. Mike Miller in that third spot. Ryan Tedesco fourth. Rich Rohr in fifth. Doug McMillan in 54, trying to move up. Marcus Smalquit in 75, your last week's feature winner. Garbrandt out in front. Tom Garbrandt 64. Here comes Mike Miller into it on the inside, trying to get second. Bob Sibla Jr. hangs on to that though on the outside. Now in the second. Rohr and Tedesco side by side for that fourth spot. Now he's back to the fifth. It's Tedesco. White flag. Side by side in the three. Oh, that's pretty close. By inches at the start-finish line. Your Fast Heat winner in the late models tonight, Mike Miller in 53. Okay, here we go, second heat. Showing away 55. Ed Midall 64. Kenny Cantrell 07. Dwayne Dunn in 32. John Sanquest in 66. Paul Snyder Jr. in 17. Paul Michael 69 and Dan Stempel 29. Run out your field. Your race leader is Dangerous Daryl Dexter from Janine Hunt, Ohio. Halfway. On the inside, Edmund on the outside. Ed will take over the lead. Ed Midall, 64, out in front. Daryl Dexter second. Dwayne Dunn third. White flag. Then 07, 66, 17 Bob Snyder Jr. Midall, Daryl Dexter, Bob Schneider. Okay, picking up the second heat of the late models tonight. From Massillon, Ohio is number 64, Ed Midvale. Okay, moving to the first heat, I believe, of the sports stocks. From right down the street, Bill Weaver in 94. On the outside of him, Keith Thomas, last year's point champion in the sports stock class. Will Walker in 15 from Uricksville. Dover, Ohio is Kevin McClintock in 38. 7, Gabe Pringle. 75 is Ron Daig. And 54, Doug McMillan. Keith Thomas, Bill Weaver, Ron Daig, and looks like maybe Kevin McClintock. Going for a ride was Doug McMillan and Keith Thomas going in the pits. There we go. Yellow is out. No laps in, 8 to go. Will Walker, Kevin McClintock. Will Walker will lead lap 1. Kevin McClintock, Doug, Ron Daig in at 75. Gabe Pringle and Doug McMillan around the field. Kevin McClintock on the inside, Ron Daig on the outside. And Gabe Pringle and Doug McMillan run out your field. Halfway, 4 in, 4 to go. Doug on the inside, going to try to get him, but now he shoots to the outside. Ron Daig in second, Will Walker showing away, white flag. They touch when they go down into 1. Will Walker, Ron Daig, Kevin McClintock, Gabe Pringle, and Doug McMillan. Okay, picking up the fast heat of sports stocks tonight from Uricksville, Willie Walker in 15. Okay, second heat of sports stocks. Joe Stanford Jr. in 9, Jeff Lonzer in 2. Nick Grubbs in 24, Kurt Waller in 18 and 10. Last week's feature winner, Chris Cale in 10. Three wide down the backstretch. across the line. Chris Cale in second. Kurt Waller now into third. Joe Sanford Jr. and Jeff Fonzer. Nick Grubbs out in front. Chris Cale in that second spot. Halfway with Kurt Waller in third. Joe Sanford Jr. fourth. Jeff Fonzer in fifth. Sanford Jr. getting the black flag. He's out. 3 cars left. White flag coming out for Kurt Waller. 10. Chris Cale in that second spot. Jeff Fonzer third. Kurt Waller wins it. Chris Cale second. Jeff Fonzer finished third. Winner of the second sports stock heat race tonight, Kurt Waller in car number 10. On the pole, 50, Teddy Oliver. 12, John Leisure. 81, being driven tonight by Calvin Cullen. 03, Charlie Rich. 84, Rich Schweitzer. 28 of Jimmy Orr. 73, Al Street, and your top qualifier, number 17, Randy Smart from Dover, Ohio. Takes the lead out of 2. John Leisure in that second spot. Chester McMaster's third. Joe Oliver on the outside of Rick Elkins Jr. That's not Charlie Rick. Rick Elkins Jr. John Leisure going for a ride down the backstretch. Caution out. Here we go. Teddy Oliver showing the way. Rich Schweitzer in second. John Leisure third. Jimmy Orr in that fourth spot. Bringing Randy Smart with him in the back of the pack. He's up to fourth on the inside. into second by inches as they go through 3 and 4. Jimmy Orr on the outside. Teddy over on the inside. Randy Smart in third. Rich Schweitzer fourth. Al Street moving into fifth on the inside. White flag. Rich Schweitzer, Al Street, John Leisure, Calvin Cohen, and Rick Elkins Jr. Your winner of the Fast Heat, the Pure Stocks tonight, from Canton, Ohio, Teddy Oliver. Okay, moving to the second heat of the Pure Stocks on the pole. Chris Miller in 70. 10 is Gibbs, Troy Gibbs. 77, Bob Pathwater Sr., 1 of Tim Rogers. 13, Douglas Higgins. 52 is Rick Elkins Sr., I believe, tonight. And then 64 of Doug Decker, and 11 of Mike Phillips Jr. Here we go. Miller showing the way. Here comes Gibbs on the outside. No caution. Now there is. Caution is out. There we go. Chris Miller, Bob Pathwater Sr., Troy Gibbs. Doug Decker on the outside, coming from the back to the front. Mike Phillips trying to move up on the outside now. Yellow's out. Not yet. Yellow's not out. No caution. Halfway. Your race leader is Doug Decker in 64. Chris Miller in second. Third is Bob Pathwater Sr., then Chuck Elkins Sr., and then Troy Gibbs. Out in front is Doug Decker, battle for second, third and fourth. White flag out for Doug Decker. Your winner, Doug Decker, 64. Bob Pathwater Sr. will finish second. Chuck Elkins, or Rick Elkins Sr., Chris Miller, and Troy Gibbs. Doug Decker, your winner of the second Pure Stock Heat Race tonight. Okay, moving into the third and final Pure Stock Heat Race. On the pole, Tim Oliver in 8, Charlie Rich in 03, charging Charlie Childress in 4. 82 would be Lou Francis. 32 out there is Keith Anderson. 18 of, I believe, Hamilton. Richard Hamilton. 29 of Dan Moore. I believe that is your field for the third and final Pure Stock Heat Race tonight. There we go. Quit. Charging Charlie Kirkus in 4. Charlie Richens second. Lou Francis third. Keith Anderson 4th. Hamilton 5th. Childress out in front. Normally runs the Barberton Speedway. Lou Francis in that second spot. Halfway. With Charlie Rich in third. Out in front in 4, Lou Francis in second at 42. White flag. Charlie Childress out in front in 4. Looks like he's going to pick up the win. He does. And Lou Francis will finish second. Charlie Rich will finish third. And Richard Hamilton will finish a distant 4th. All right, picking up the third and final heat race and picking up his first, I believe, ever heat race or checker flag here at Midvale Speedway from Barberton, Ohio. Charlie Childress in 4. Fast heat of the compacts on the pole. Mike Hosteller in 53, Troy McMahon 64, Adam Mishler 65, Kenny Ford 67, 157 Blake Mackey, 3 Tad Groves 47, Don Richmond Jr. 14 of Jimmy Poole 44, Ron Myers 35 of John McNutt. Here we go. front. Mike Hosteller second. Adam Mitchell third. Blake Mackey in fourth. Trying to inch his way into second. Mike right there. Troy McMathis left the building. White flag for Troy McMathis. Troy McMath wins it. Adam Mitchell finished second. Mike Hostetler in third. Your winner from Uricksville, Ohio, card number 64, Troy McMath. Winner of your fast compact heat race tonight. Okay, moving to the second compact heat race. Kevin Renneker in 75, Chris Bloom in 151, Tammy Rufner in 7, Neil Rowley in 46, 72, Russell Granis in 2, Jason Morgan, 78 of Stephen Feaster, 69, Josh Irwin, and 11, his son Mike Gribble. Here we go. Kevin Renneker out in front. Kevin Renneker, Tammy Rufner, Neil Rowley, Jason Morgan, Josh Irwin, Russell Granison, Stephen Feaster, and Mike Gribble. Out in front, halfway. front. Neil Rowley second. Josh Irwin third. Kevin Renniker, Neil Rowley. Josh Irwin, Jason Morgan, Russell Grandison. Kevin Renniker, your winner of the second compact heat race tonight. Okay, third heat. Jill Hershey, 86. Jimmy Campbell, 127. Ryan Kopp, 52. Johnny Campbell in 27. 33. Then Mike Powell, 45. Bubba Smith in 6. Jesse Page, 02. And Chad Henry in 87. Mike Powell coming from the back of the pack. Jill Hershey, Mike Powell, Ryan Kopp, Jesse Page, Jimmy Campbell, Johnny Campbell, halfway. Mike Powell going for the race lead. White flag. Jesse Page looks to the inside of Mike Powell. Mike Powell hits the front stretch wall a ton. Jesse Page will win the race. There's your your third heat race winner, Jesse Page from Canton, Ohio. Okay, Chris Ruth going to bring him in 00. Mark Wilson Jr. in 18. Cody Shush in 118. Paul Murray Jr. in 21. Bill Wilkins in 28. Kenny Jewell in 76. That car 79 and 74 of Bob Pathwater Jr. second on the outside. Coming from the back of the pack is 00. Steve Rose shows the way. Coming out. White flag, Steve Rose, Kenny Jewell, Paul Murray Jr. Paul Murray Jr., Paul Pass Wonder Jr., Pat Carnes, Bill Wilkins, Cody Shush, Mark Willison Jr., and Paul Stahl. There's your winner, Steve Roth, in the 4th compact heat race tonight. Okay, moving to the 5th and final heat race tonight. In 115, Howard Bartholomew. Howard Bartholomew. 80, Pat Moore. 55 of John Reel. 51, Joe Fitch. 26, Bob Vertel. 32, Bruce Gibson. 987, Tammy Ondo. And 20, Larry Enos Jr. Howard Bartholomew in 115 out in front. 80, Pat Moore. Bruce Gibson in 3rd. Almost taking out the turn 2 wall. Bob Vertel up to 3rd. Now he slides back to 4th. Howard Bartholomew, 4, Bob Vertel, John Reel, Tammy Ondo, Fitch, and Enos. White flag. Bruce Gibson out in front. Checkered flag. Bruce Gibson wins it. Your winner of the 5th and final heat race tonight, Bruce Gibson in 32. There we go. In middle, Bob Snyder Jr., Tom Garbrandt, Bob Sibla, Mike Miller, Ryan Tedesco, Rich Rohr, Marcus Malcolm, and Ron J. Bird Jr. In middle, out in front. Bob Snyder second. On the inside, Mike Miller and Bob Sibler Jr. Sibler's out. Middle, out in front, shown away. Bob Snyder, Canton, Ohio in that second spot. Tom Garbrandt, Newport in third. Outside. He wants to get by Garbrandt. Can't do it down the backstretch. Bob Snyder drifts high in 3 and 4. Tom Garbrandt eliminates Snyder. Ron J. Bird Jr. going to the pits. White flag. Out of 4. In middle. Tom Garbrandt, Mike Miller, Ryan Tedesco, Rich Rohr, and Marcus Malquit. Okay, picking up the late model pursuit tonight here at Midvale Speedway from Massillon, Ohio. I believe you won a heat race earlier tonight. Number 64, Ed Middle. Okay, moving into the sports stock. 7 cars will go 7 laps. Jeff Blonzer, Kurt Waller, Chris Cale, Will Weaver, Kevin McClintock, Gabe Pringle, and Ron Degg. Jeff Blonzer's out. Caution is out. 1 in, 6 to go. Kurt Waller, Chris Cale, Kevin McClintock, Gabe Pringle, and Ron Day. Here we go. front. Chris Kale second. Gabe Pringle third. Ken McClintock, bowl of the pits. White flag, or halfway. Gabe Pringle trying to eliminate. He does. Chris Kale. White flag. Kurt Waller, Gabe Pringle, and Ron Day. Your sports stock pursuit winner from Janane Hutton, Ohio, Kurt Waller in 18. Rick Elkins Sr. in 52. They got Chuck. It might be Chuck Elkins in 52. Doug Decker 64. Mike Phillips Jr. in 11. Teddy Oliver in 50. Calvin Cole in 81. Rick Elkins Jr. 53. Rich Schweitzer 84. Jimmy Orr 28. Al Street 73. And Randy Smart in 17. Streets out. Cars left. Teddy Oliver on the inside, Randy Smart on the outside. Teddy won that lap, but this is the important one right here. Let's see what happens. Teddy Oliver, Randy Smart. Your winner From the Australian Pursuit, the Pure Stocks, Teddy Oliver. Okay, moving to the Australian Pursuit in the compacts. On the pole, Josh Irwin in 69, Mike Hostetler 53, Troy McMath 64, Adam Mitchell 65, Blake Mackey in 157, Tad Grove in 3, Jimmy Poole in 14, 44 Ron Myers. Your top qualifier is John McNutt. Here we go. Troy McMath, Mike Hostetler out. Blake Mackey third. Josh Irwin on the inside, Adam Mitchell on the outside. Tag Grove, here it comes. Blake Mackey in the third. Josh Irwin, Blake Mackey on the inside, Adam Mitchell on the outside. Tag Grove, Jimmy Poole, and John McNutt. Cars left. White flag. Tag Grove second, John McNutt third. Blake Mackey, Tag Grove, John McNutt. Blake Mackey, your winner of the Australian Pursuit in the compacts tonight. Moving into the 25 lap late model feature. On the pole, Ed Middall at 64, Bob Snyder 17, Tom Garbrandt 64, Bob Sibla Jr. 42, Mike Miller 53, Brian Lesko 70, Rick Rohr 7, Marcus Napa 75, Doug McMillan at 54, Mark Wilson 18, Ron Jaber Jr. 22, Dwayne Dunn 32, Daryl Dexter 55, John Sandquist 66, Ken Cantrell in 07, Bob Michael 69, and Dan Stempel 29. Here we go! lap one. Head middle, Mike Miller. Tom Gardner. Rich Roar, Bob Snyder. McMillan brings out a caution. Okay, here we go. Caution out. And here we go. Mike Miller, Rich Roar in third, Tom Garbrandt, Ryan Tedesco. Dexter got collected. Ron Jaybird Jr. did a 360, hit Daryl Dexter. Doug McMillan up there and Kenny Cantrell. Caution lights are out, we're going back to racing. Michael on the inside of Dwayne Dunn. Head middle, Mike Miller. Chris Ford. Ryan Tedesco. Garbrandt, Bob Snyder, Marcus Malcolm, Dwayne Dunn, Mark Willison, John Sandquist, Ron Jaybird Jr. Ryan Tedesco, Tom Garbrand, Bob Snyder, Marcus Hoffman, Mark Wilson, Dwayne Dunn, John Sanquest, John J. Bird Jr. Yellow is out. Okay, here we go. Mike Miller, Rich Rohr, Ryan Tedesco, Bob Snyder, Mark Willison, okay, 16 in, 9 to go. Going down the outside. Ryan Tedesco, Bob Snyder. Ryan Tedesco, Bob Snyder right there in second. Third, Mark Wilson, Marcus Malcolm fourth. Dwayne Dunn fifth, and middle. John Sanquest, Ron J. Bird, and Mike Miller. Hoffman on the outside of Wilson. Bob Snyder trying to hang on to second. Comes Tedesco. He wins it. Snyder, Coughlin, Wilson, Dunn, Middle, Sanquest, Jay Bird, and I believe Mike Miller.
Here he comes, your winner, Ryan Tedesco. Well, Ryan, that was a wild one. It was a matter of staying out of trouble. Last week, you probably would have won the feature had that restart not taken place on the first lap or whatever. Then you spun out on the first lap. You had to go to the bench, back to the field, come up through, get a top 5. This week, just kind of ran their mid-pack or whatever. Richie and Mike, they got together over there in turn 4. You were able to pick up the victory. All race was a good run.
Yeah, it seemed like at the beginning of the race I was in the wrong lane. You know, I kind of keep racing the same way. I got in the lane behind the guy that wasn't following and got shuffled back further than what I started with. And, you know, the 54 and 75 got together and give me 2 spots. And then with Ricky and I didn't touch Richie, so I was kind of worried about what was rubbing on the front end. Luckily, there wasn't too many laps to go.
Did you see it coming when Richie got to the inside of him up in turn 4? Did you know what was about to happen, or were you going to try to follow Richie or take a second?
Well, it seemed like on the restart, I don't know if Richie wasn't trusting the car quite until the tires come up, the temperature or what, but it seemed like he kept it really tight in and off of the first 3 laps, and I was pretty good right from the get-go on the restart, and then I was waiting a little bit later, so I thought I was going to try to get to the outside of you, and that's kind of why I was fitted high. Whenever Richie come up high, I was right there, so they could cut it.
Good run tonight.
Thank you.
Ryan Tedesco, your winner. He'll be running one more week with us before his next DSA late model event on the 29th, but he will be back in action next Saturday here at Midvale.
Ryan Tedesco, your late model feature winner tonight. All right, 20 lap sports stock. Nick Grubbs bringing them in. Kurt Waller out in front, Nick Grubbs second. Three-way battle for third, fourth and fifth. Thomas, Bill Weaver in fourth, Kevin McClintock, Keith Thomas taking the pit, or on the pace anyway. Ron Day move up on the outside. Caution out.
94.
Here we go. Caution out. On the outside, here goes Ron Day. Willie Walker in the infield. Caution out. Here we go. Chris Cale, Kevin McClintock. Ron Day got in front. Kurt Waller second. Kevin McClintock third. Doug McMillan fourth. Kale in fifth. Bill Weaver. Gabe Pringle. Nick Grubbs and Joe Sanford Jr. Doug McMillan up to third, challenging Kurt Waller for second. Ron Digg is way out in front. Out in front. Doug McMillan second. Kurt Waller third. Kim McCullough fourth. Caution out again for Gabe Pringle. Here we go. 16 in, 4 to go. Doug McMillan, Kurt Waller, Kevin McClintock, Chris Kale, Gabe Pringle, and Bill Weaver. White flag. Down the back stretch one more time. Doug McMillan, Kurt Waller, Kevin McClintock, Chris Kale, Gabe Pringle, and Bill Weaver. Doug McMillan, your sports stock feature winner tonight.
I guess it's David for the next week here at the Sports Stock Race. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to run the sports anymore. We're going to run all over to get ready. We didn't want to come bring the pool. Right all over the spot. Those are bad ones in the late model feature, but here's the Sports Stock feature. A good one. You actually took other bad ones and turned it into your good one. Yeah, that's a model deal. I don't know. Marcus didn't think he did. And then they look at my quarter wheel, they go to the kid, and they give me my swap back, and then they said it was too late. So I don't know. I think they just want to make it all up there. They can see what's going on 80, 90, 100 mile an hour. They make it go like this week. Sometimes they might not even be able to bring the ball in that either, so it could go either way. I'll take that, other than one of the drivers. Your winner, let's hear it for Doug McMillan.
Doug McMillan, your sports stock feature winner tonight. Okay, getting ready to move into the 15-lap pure stock feature. On the pole, looks like it's Mike Phillips Jr. in the 11-teen car. 50, Teddy Oliver flanks him on the outside. Last week's Decker, stock feature winner. Next row back, John Leisure, Canton, Ohio. On the outside of him, filling in for Chester McMasters tonight, Calvin Cullen in 81. 53, Rick Elkins Jr. On the outside of him, 84, Rich Schweitzer. Back on the inside, 73, Big Al Street. And on the outside of him, number 17, your top qualifier tonight, Randy Smart. Back on the inside, number 64, Doug Decker. And Chuck Elkins in 52. And number 28, Jimmy Orr. Jimmy might be having some mechanical problem. Took the scratch, I believe. Here we go. Mike Phillips, Teddy Oliver. Three-wave, third, fourth, and fifth. John Leisure gets a flat tire out of the deal. Calvin Cole going to the pits in 81. Big Al Street going on the outside, trying to get that lead. Teddy Oliver looks like he's missing. And he's going to the pits. Al Street out in front. Mike Phillips in second. Third is Rick Elkins Jr. and Rich Schweitzer, Randy Smart, Doug Decker. 3 wide going into 3. Battle for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. As Al Street is checked out right now. Mike on the inside, Randy on the outside. Al's out in front. 5 to go. Rich Schweitzer taking over third. Everybody, here comes Mike Phillips back. Randy is trying to catch Al. Can he get by? White flag. Out on the inside, Randy on the outside. Randy Smart, Al Street. Rich Schweitzer, Doug Decker, Mike Phillips, Rick Elkins Jr., and Chuck Elkins. New qualifying time earlier this evening, 17:05, I believe, for Randy Smart. Top qualifier, and he comes home in the pure stock. Fast feature tonight. There he is, Randy Smart.
Well, last week, we had a little issue with the mishap coming on the first number 2 over there. Our other person on a little bit of work this week and came back and said the track record tonight now if he could win. If he could catch out 3, about a quarter of the track.
We were speeding through the pits.
When you took second, I said it's going to take a constant before you catch it. I think we had to cruise control a little bit, and then when you pulled to get hot on the front stretch, you brought it in a little. I think he closed the door on you, but he still opened it up enough for you to get by on the outside. Yeah.
18 miles.
Climb on the outside, but yeah, I think you need to slow down to something maybe a little bit. Your winner, Randy Smart. Woo! Woo!
Just tell Larry Clay that car that just won the feature also set track record tonight.
There's your winner, Randy Smart, in the Pure Stock Fast feature at Midvale Speedway. Okay, second Pure Stock feature on the pole. Charlie Rich 03, Keith Anderson 32, Lou Francis 82, Chris Miller 70. Rogers in 1, Pathwater Sr. in 77, Richard Chuck, Charlie Childress in 4, 8, Tim Oliver. 1 in the pits already. Oh, he backed back in. And now he's pulling in the infield. Charles Rich out in front. Lou Francis second. Keith Anderson in that 3rd spot. Chris Miller in 4th. Charlie Childress in that 5th spot. Now comes Bob Pathwater Sr. into it. And Childress just igniting the motor. Caution out. Back to green this time. Charles Rich takes it. Lou Francis on the inside. 3 wide into 3. Pathwater Sr. pulls off the pace just a little bit as Lou Francis shows the way. Chris Miller 2nd. Keith Anderson 3rd. Charlie Rich 4th. Gibbs in that 5th spot, and then Bob Pathwater, Senior, 6th. Chris Miller into the lead. Keith Anderson 2nd. Blue Francis back to 3rd. Troy Gibbs in that 4th spot. Five to go. Keith Anderson 2nd. 3rd, Troy Gibbs. Blue Francis, Charlie Rich, and Bob Pathwater Senior going to the pits. 5 cars out there racing. White flag. Checker flag coming out for Chris Miller, Keith Anderson, Troy Gibbs, Blue Francis, and Charlie Rich. Picking up the 2nd Pure Stock feature event tonight. Chris Miller.
Real quick, like Chris, outside lane, you got a chance to pick up the feature win in that 2nd feature tonight. I kind of like to put it on the page so we can feature.
Yeah, I'm running the first one, but I was going to already 2 weeks on the big right weekend. It was a lot of fun. Good race. My wife put up with this for 5 years. I love it. Thank you.
Your winner, Chris Miller.
Chris Miller. 2nd Pure Stock feature winner tonight. Okay, here's your lineup for the fast compact feature. On the pole from Uricksville, Ohio, Troy McMath in car 64. Flanking him on the outside in car 65, also from Uricksville, that's Adam Mishler. Next row back from Canton, Ohio, 67, that is last week's feature winner, Kenny Ford. On the outside of him, filling in for Tom Barrett from right down the street from Midvale, that's Blake Mackey in 157. Next row back. In car number 3, that is Tad Grove. On the outside of Tad in 47, Don Rufner Jr. in 47. Next row back, Jimmy Poole in 14. On the outside of Jimmy, Ron Myers, 44. The top qualifier, John McNutt, 35. Then Mike Hostetler in 53. Josh Irwin, 69. Kevin Feaster, 78. Jason Morgan in 2. Russell Grant in 72. And Neil Rowley, 46. gonna lead lap 1. John McNutt. Ron Myers, Blake Mackey, Josh Irwin, Jimmy Poole, Kenny Ford, John McNutt on the outside. Tad Grove, Adam Mishler, Ron Myers, Blake Mackey, Josh Irwin, Jimmy Poole, Don Rupert Jr. Halfway. Out in front, he's led every lap. Kenny Ford second. Tad Grove third, John McNutt fourth, Adam Mishler fifth, Ron Myers sixth. John McNutt off the pace. Kenny Ford, Tad Grove, white flag, white flag. Second, Troy McMath will pick up the win. Third will be Tad Grove, fourth will be Adam Mishler, fifth, Ron Myers, sixth, Josh Irwin.
Coming to the finish line. McMahon Construction, shortstop drive-through. East High RV PNV Machine, Music and Myers Heating and Cooling, number 64. First feature victory, Urensville driver Troy McMahon coming to the start-finish line.
Picking up the fast feature tonight.
Now the coming in 35 before he experienced problems up around the third spot. Getting ready to climb behind the wheel is here for Troy McMahon.
Troy McMahon, your feature winner in the Compacts Fast Feature.
Well, Troy, congratulations. It was a good starting spot for you. You knew that Ron Myers, Adam Fitzler, John Sherwin, all of the strong, John McNutt would be coming. He was up to the third spot before he experienced the problem. Did you know those guys are right behind you?
I can feel it, man. I can hear it right there.
You wanted to make sure to protect the bottom. I'm sure that was your goal because if they had to go to the outside, you knew you could probably hold on.
That's right.
Our seems to be running better now.
A little bit after all the trouble we went through so far this year.
Maybe you got to turn around. Oh, your winner, Troy McMahon.
Troy McMahon, your winner. Okay, second compact feature. Johnny Campbell, bring him in. Bubba Smith on the outside. Chad Henry in 87. Jesse Page 02. Mike Gribble 11. Tammy Rupner 7. Kevin Reniker in 75. Chris Bloom 151. 33. Then 52. Oh. Brian Kopp. Jimmy Campbell 127. Pat Carnes 79. Bill Wilkins at 28. And 86 of Jill Hershey out there racing. As Johnny Campbell shows the way in 187. Jesse Page on the outside. Bubba Smith in that third spot. Fourth, Mike Gribble. Then Chad Henry in 87. Jesse Page, your new race leader. Yellow is out. Pat Carnes losing the wheel. Here we go, 5 in, 10 to go. Outside. Halfway. Jesse Page back. Tammy Rupner third. 5 to go. Johnny Campbell fourth. Bubba Smith fifth. Kevin Redicker sixth. Mike Gribble in seventh. Chris Bloom in eighth. Ninth, Bill Wilkins. Now he's challenging for the lead. White flag. Jesse leads him down the backstretch. Jesse will pull it off. Tammy will finish second. Chad third. Bubba fourth. Johnny, Kevin, Mike, Bill, Chris, Jimmy, Ryan, Jill, and I don't know, and 33.
Physical therapy, Don Holbrook, attorney at law, Martin Starr, sponsor 02. Finding out from behind the wheel, your winner, Jesse Page.
Jesse Page, your second compact feature winner tonight.
On your way, you use the outside lane to get up front, and other cars try to get around to the outside. We're strong enough to pull them off. Looks like they got down the straightaway a little better if you were able to get to the turn. Yeah, maybe so. I haven't heard down the straightaway. Car ran pretty good. Who were you most worried about? Getting to the answer. The car that were down the earlier. I thought they were going to give me pretty strong. Your winner, Jesse Page.
Your winner, Jesse Page. Okay, third and final compact feature, Bob Bertel will bring him in. Bruce Gibson on his outside. Sammy Ondo 97, Steve Ruth in 00. Paul Murray Jr. in 21. Kenny Jewell 76. Paul Stahl 05. Cody Shush 118. John Reel in 55. Fitch in 51. Bob Pathletter Jr. 74. 80 of Moore. And we got a new leader of Paul Murray Jr. Fireball Paul Murray Jr. out in front as they go and take the green. Kenny Jewell, seasoned veteran, he'll be right on his tail. See if Paul can hold him off. Third. Paul Stahl up to fourth on the outside. Back into it. Halfway. Kenny Jewell, Fireball Paul Murray Jr. second. Jimmy Ondo third. Paul Pathwater Jr. fourth. Fifth is Paul Stahl, then Bruce Gibson, Cody Shush, Paul Bertel, fifth. He wrote Mark Wilson Jr., John Reel, Dan Moore, Howard Bartlow, out on the lead lap. Pathwater Jr. is catching him. White flag. Out of four. Kenny Jewell, Paul Murray Jr., Paul Pathwater Jr., Tammy Ondo, Paul Stahl, Bruce Gibson, Cody Shush, Steve Root, Paul Bertel, fifth, Mark Willison Jr., John Reel, and Moore in 80 on the lead lap. Okay, picking up the third and final compact feature event of the evening and bringing a close to the racing action here at Midvale Speedway is Kenny Jewell in car 76. So along with Karen and Bear Schwartz, the owners and promoters of Midvale Speedway, this has been your video announcer Craig Mishler, wishing you a pleasant good evening as Kenny Jewell brings his car to a stop and he'll climb out and get the checker flag.
Taking out the win in the Dodgeball Optical Norms Variety Metal Recycling Company 76, the final feature winner of the evening, Kenny Jewell. Remember, next Saturday night, racing action starts at 6:30. Qualifying at about 4:20. 4 divisions plus the compact figure 8.
There he is, Kenny Jewell in car 76, your third and final compact feature event winner this evening.